Hello, this is Doug Tidwell. I was recently sitting in my corner office admiring the scenery through my floor-to-ceiling windows when a friend called and asked when the next IBM Cloud intro video would be ready. I said, "I'm posting it right now, Ms. Streep," and here we are. In the first video in this series, you built a simple Node application with a continuous delivery pipeline and a Cloud NoSQL database. Today, you'll take that application a step further by adding a web form that puts data into that database. You'll run that code in two ways. First, as a standalone application on your machine, then as an advanced Cloud Foundry application hosted in the cloud. In this series, you'll ultimately run a version of this app in 5 different environments. But no matter where or how you're running the application, it always uses the same database in the same database service in the IBM Cloud. Before you get started, you'll need to install 3 things. First of all, you need a Git client on your machine. If you don't have one already, visit gitscm.com for everything you need to download, install, and configure Git. Next, you need the Node.js runtime and npm, the Node package manager. Go to nodejs.org and download and install the latest stable version of Node for your platform. npm is installed along with the Node runtime. Finally, you need the IBM Cloud command line tools. Go to this URL, click the download link, click the link for the latest version for your platform, and install it. By the way, all of these tools work the same way on Linux, Windows, and the Mac. To make the point as we go forward, I'll be switching among the 3 systems. At this point, you should have Git, Node, and the IBM Cloud tools installed. To make sure you're all set, go to the command line and type the following 5 commands: git --version, node --version, npm --version, bx --version, and to make sure the Cloud Foundry tools were installed with the Bluemix tools, bxcf--version. Your app will work with any reasonably modern version of these tools, so don't worry if your version doesn't match the one on the screen here. The important thing is that all of these commands run. Now type bx login to the IBM Cloud. Once you're logged in, you have to set the organization and space for your apps so the Bluemix tool knows where to put things. Type bx account orgs to see a list of organizations in your account. If it's a new account, your org will be your username, and there will be a space within that org called dev. Type bx target -o, your username, -s dev. That sets the target organization and space for everything you'll do here. Next, type bxcf services to see a list of your services. You should see the Cloud NoSQL database you created when you followed along with the intro video. If not, type, spelled and capitalized exactly as you see here, bxcf create service, Cloud NoSQL DB, Lite, followed by the name of your database service. Apologies for all the if statements in these instructions, but there are certain things that might not be set up in your account. We want to make sure everybody can follow along, so I'm mentioning some corner cases because they might affect you. Anyway, moving along. First, we're 5.5 minutes in and I'm saying first. First, you need to get the code from GitHub onto your machine. At the command line, type git clone, then the URL you see on your screen, and switch to that directory once the files are downloaded. Your first task is to run the app on your machine. Type npm install to get npm to install all the packages your app needs. Your app uses the Cloud package to interact with your database service in the cloud, the .env package to manage the credentials for that service, and a few common packages to host a simple website. With the npm packages installed, it's time to work with credentials. Credentials are a hassle, but once you get them set up, you'll never have to think about them again. Your database has a username, password, and other parameters that your code needs to access the service. You need to put those parameters into a file called .env, but first you have to get them. To do that, type bxcf service keys and the name of your Cloud service. That gives you the name of the key or keys defined for that service. If there aren't any keys, another if statement, you'll need to create one with the command bxcf create service key followed by the service name, then a name for the key. I promise we're about out of if statements. Once you have the name of a key, type bxcf service key followed by the service name and the key name. That gives you the credentials you need. You'll see something like this. The username, password, host, port, and URL of your Cloud service are displayed in all their glory. Now open the file .env in your favorite editor and paste in the values for the credentials. When you run your app locally on your machine, the .env package will look in the .env file to find the information it needs to access the database. Once you've filled in the credentials, save and close the .env file and type npm start. Now go to your browser and open localhost port 8080. You'll see this lovely screen. Fill in the blanks and click the Submit button, and you'll see a page that says you've registered for the webinar. Back at the command line, you'll see a confirmation message as well. But how do you know your app really put the information in your database in the cloud? Go to the IBM Cloud console, go to the dashboard and click on your database service. Then click the Launch button on the Services Management page. Click the Database icon to see a list of your databases. Webinar should be one of them. Click on the database name and you'll see a list of its documents. The table icon at the top of the display gives you a vaguely useful list. If you open the document that matches the data you just entered, you'll see the JSON document that contains what you just entered into the app. So take a deep breath. You've configured and deployed a complex application to your machine. Although it's running locally, it works with your Cloud database in the cloud. But what if I told you you could deploy this app so that both the code and the database were in the IBM Cloud? Well, pretend I just told you that, because that's what you'll do next. You've done all the preliminaries at this point, so it'll only take a few commands to go to the cloud. And here we go. First, type bxcf push, the name you'd like to give your app, -K 256M to give your app a quarter gig of disk space, -M 256M to give your app a quarter gig of memory, then --no manifest --no start. That app name, by the way, has to be unique across the IBM Cloud, just like the app you created in the intro video. This command pushes your code into the IBM Cloud, but obviously doesn't start it. You don't want to start the code yet because you haven't tied your code and the database service together. To do that, type bxcf bind service, followed by the name of your app and the name of your database service. You'll get a message that suggests you restage your app. Ignore that message because your app isn't running. Now type bxcf start and the name of your app, and the IBM Cloud will start your app. When you get the message that everything is up and running, open the URL of your app in a browser. You'll see the same page you saw just moments ago, only now that page is live on the web and can be accessed by anybody, anywhere. Enter some data, click Submit, then go back to the Cloud console. Your new document will be there. You may have to refresh the page before you can see it, but trust me, it's there. There's one more step you could take, but there's another video for that. The directory you're working in points back to the original GitHub repo. What you'd like to do is create a continuous delivery pipeline for your new app, then point your directory to the Git repo in that pipeline. Once you have that set up, changing your code and pushing it to the IBM Cloud kicks off your delivery pipeline, automatically rebuilding your app and redeploying it. There's a DeveloperWorks mailbag video at this URL that covers all the details if you'd like to do that. And of course, we encourage you to do that. That's plenty for now. You've taken 2 huge steps forward in your work with the IBM Cloud. First, you learned how to use credentials so an in-house app can access a service hosted in the IBM Cloud. Then you deployed your app to the cloud as well. In the next video in this series, you'll build a Docker image from your application, run that Docker image as a container on your machine, then you'll deploy that Docker image to a Kubernetes cluster in the IBM Cloud. So while you're basking in the glow of your accomplishments here, you can dream of the further glory you'll achieve as you master the world of containers. Thanks as always for watching. I hope this video was helpful. And until next time, this is Doug Tidwell saying, may all your bugs be shallow. Cheers.